what have you found then with the Safe Conversations framework, which you might know it off by heart, but around
Mhm.
that self-awareness and your own self-awareness, the awareness of the other, and then around the acknowledging their difficulties and their challenges and asking questions gently, then focus on the listening and then empowering. How have you found that sort of framework, that model for you in these types of conversations?
Yeah, so I think a big part of what I took away from them is a massive part of safe conversations is most people just want to be heard.
Mm,
They go into their, when you're arguing with your spouse or you're arguing with your family, a lot of the times in those arguments, you're not being heard because everyone's just trying to get their perspective across. And I'm sure we all have personally been in those situations where no
I've
one's
never been.
listening.
No, never,
Yeah.
never.
So most of the time they just want to be heard. They just want to come in and say like, this is what has happened and this is how I'm feeling, and they just really want to get it out. They don't necessarily they're not always coming to me for my advice. And we obviously have our EAP program, which I'll always offer to them. And But a lot of the time, especially for guys, like especially coming from a Pacific Island background, mental health is not something that they talk about or is really acknowledged.
Mm,
So um, for them to even come and talk to me is like a
mm,
big deal. So a lot of the time, they really just want to get it off their chest. So I'm just there to listen. And I
mm,
do give them tools and obviously connections if they need to go that extra step. Or if they feel like they are needing support, there is something there to catch them. Um, but yeah, a lot of the time they just want to be heard, and especially being in a foreign country, if there is resources, they just don't know where to find them. So we've had some situations with domestic violence, and they haven't known, if they're entitled to or what resources are in our community
mm.
if they need them. And most of the time, they're coming to me as friends of somebody who's going through domestic violence and they don't know how to help.
Yeah.
So I have found a lot of really great resources that help people as a friend of somebody going through domestic violence,
Mhm,
how to have conversations with them,
mm,
how to make sure that they do know what, not necessarily that they know what they're talking about, because as a friend in those situations, you're not necessarily there to say get out, leave, or whatever. It's
yeah,
just to help give them the resources. So
yeah.
um yeah, a lot of the time I've found those safe conversations are really just me connecting them with someone who can help. Is
Mm.
my job is not to save the day. My job is just to provide the connections to someone that can help.
Yes, yes, yeah, very much so. Yes,
Yeah.
good.